Yeah. Welcome to the Oscar Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Arts Bar Podcast. I'm going to open up this week. I'm here with, again, Mr. Tom Wilson.
Hello.
And we are in Studio 1, which is upstairs above the bar, isn't it?
It is. It's a beautiful studio.
It is.
I hope it doesn't sound too echoey on the podcast, but
Yeah, we could be stuck there, couldn't we?
we'll see what happens.
You have to sort it in post.
Yeah, I'll sort it in post. I'm going to call this episode Backstage Pass.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drink my classic cappuccino again.
Cool. Well, the running theme in the podcast is that I'm trying drinks I've never tried before. Now, I didn't actually
Wilson's on an all-inclusive in Benidorm, and you've gone for what?
I didn't actually ask what it was.
No,
I
you
just
never?
said, will you do as a mocktail because it's only 2:30 in the afternoon. So I'm going to give it a go, and I'll tell you what it tastes like.
It's gone for a fruity mocktail.
Oh, hell. Well, that's sweet.
You're not really upselling the drinks.
It's delicious. I just didn't expect it to be so sweet.
Each time the matcha, you've put everyone off. What did you have last week? You liked your vanilla, you liked your latte, didn't you?
I like the matcha. I can't put my finger on.
People have been messaging saying, "So funny watching Tom drink matcha."
So
It looked delicious. You didn't really sell it with your face.
it's got.
Maybe do it again. Maybe do it again just for the camera. Oh, that's a bit much. It's like an M&S advert.
I can't win. It's got sex on the beach vibes.
It does. But it is a mocktail.
Yeah, with a bit of a lime kick. I think that must be a strawberry syrup or maybe no, it's a grenadine.
It's grenadine.
Grenadine.
Pineapple juice.
Pineapple juice, orange juice in there as well.
Just
Yeah.
a fruit concoction.
It is actually delicious, but I'm going to be very hyper. I think. after-
Jesus. Yeah, I stuck to my classic cappuccino with an A on.
In the last episode,
Boring Al.
In the last episode, you could see the air the whole way
Yeah.
through. I don't think you will be able to today.
No.
Do you want to talk about the flooring in this lovely?
So we are upstairs on the second floor of the building in Studio 1, which is beautiful. I don't know how much of it you can see, but really big, tall ceilings, beautiful bamboo wooden floors, mirrors. There's people coming in.
Oh, nice.
Hi.
Show them round. It's all right. Hello. Hiya.
Hi guys, you okay?
This is Studio 1.
We're using a ridiculously big room to film a podcast.
Come and say hi on the podcast. Come and say hi. It's all right.
Holly just showing someone around the studios there to have a look at a class. Yeah, so beautiful bamboo floors, big tall ceilings, mirrors, sound system, perfect for sort of big dance classes. The one next door is a rubber floor, it's perfect for floor work. Studio 3 is even bigger, from big classes of like 30 plus, and we do some shows up there. But yeah, the floor in here, when we took this floor on, everywhere was carpeted. So everywhere had this blue carpet down, and it was horrible,
Thick,
wasn't it?
old.
It was horrible. And we got a guy out to have a look at doing some flooring work for us and putting some laminate flooring down and stuff. And he ripped the carpet up and went, I'm going to be honest with you lads, I'm doing myself out of a job, but that floor is perfect for ballroom dance. It's like literally a ballroom floor. So me and Jordan took 5 years off our lives by sanding the room back, stripping it all right back to its original floor, staining it, varnishing it, and now it's this beautiful floor. But I will be dead soon. So you can thank me when I'm gone, guys.
Yeah, I think it was such a nice thing to uncover, wasn't it? Because these rooms were, for those that know, the building that the bar's situated in is a Freemasons lodge. And these were just rooms that used to be kind of their rooms and they'd use them for whatever they do. And we just said, look, if they're not getting used, can we take a bit of a lease on these? We've got an idea about having studio space above the bar. And they said yes, so it hadn't had much TLC, had it?
No.
For the last kind of 20, 30
So
years.
it had a big paint job and floors done nicely. Big curtains up to soften the sound a little bit. But yeah, we spoke before on the podcast, haven't we, about how we started out in sort of rehearsal space and always wanted to keep that in sort of our offering. So yeah, we really wanted a floor of studios, and they're perfect for dance classes. There's so many amazing different classes that take place, from samba to ballroom to is it samba on a Monday night?
Yeah. Yeah.
Samba's
It's
Monday
Simone
night.
that does it, isn't it? Yeah.
And then there's ballroom classes, there's one-to-ones, there's big group classes of hip hop and floor work, and the other one heels and things like that.
We have Mersey swing upstairs every week.
Yeah.
Swing dancing.
Really nice little community of dancers that use the studios. But then as well as that, we've got a really good improv community that use the rooms for improvised comedy and improvised theatre. And then different theatre companies using it for sort of rehearsals leading up to shows. So it's cool. It creates that real community feel, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Because some of them are just done hourly, and then some company might book the whole space for a whole week. And it's nice seeing people come in for the first time for an hour.
Yep.
And it's also nice to have someone here for a week, 2 weeks while they're
Get to
rehearsing
know
the show.
them
Get
whilst
to
they're
know
doing
them
the
a bit
show.
more,
Yeah. And then as well as these studios, you've also got sort of people who've got like year-long leases on the rooms. So we have like bands that take the room and it's theirs, and they get exclusive use of that room. We had Paperwork, who've only just left us. They were here for 2 years.
Maybe longer, but yeah.
Paperwork Theatre, they ran their business from here.
Yeah. Rihanna from The Narrative's just taken on a room. I believe she's put out a competition on their Instagram about some free rehearsal space for liking and sharing. So
Cool.
check that out. It's The Narrative's Instagram.
Yep.
It's a monthly event that she holds upstairs in Studio 3,
Yep.
singer-songwriter circle. 3 artists sat together, each do a song back to back and talk about how they wrote it and their inspirations, and then ask each other questions. It's really picking up some traction. She gets some good guests. She's now based here with a small recording studio style setup, and it's amazing. I mean, we've had that room that used to be one of our offices, really.
Yeah.
And to see what they've done with
It's
it.
amazing to see the transformation in that room. We used to use it as an office, and it's now obviously rented out to The Narrative. And I saw a video last week and was like, wow, look at that room. Then turned my phone to Sienna and was like, look at that. That used to be the office. And she was like, get lost. It looks absolutely amazing in there.
Yeah. So check The Narrative out, and there's a competition on there to win some free recording space.
Cool.
It's great.
Cool.
Great.
We meet on an exciting week, don't we? Today is the start of Freshers Week.
Yeah. So this is going out on Wednesday, so we're recording on Monday.
Yeah.
So we have been out and about in town this morning getting some bits, and it is packed.
Nice to see the
everywhere.
city busy and people excited. Over the weekend was really nice. We went for a few beers over the weekend, didn't we? And seeing students sort of getting dropped off by their parents and having a beer, and then meeting new friends and stuff like that. It's always a really exciting weekend of the city, isn't it?
When we were sat outside the Blackburn, and a group of like 6 students
Yeah,
came.
they clearly just moved into their new flat. I felt like they were like second years that had moved into a flat or a house, and they'd that was their new local.
Yeah, it was great.
It was cool, wasn't it?
Yeah. Just all completely different like walks of life.
Yeah.
All meeting together, and the conversations were like.
I love the ones. So Freshers Week, I love seeing when, like, say 4 people, 6 people who probably wouldn't be mates in like their friend group at home, completely different, like their styles and like obviously like music tastes and things like that, but they're all just going for a drink together because they all live together. And you see that so much, don't you? Yeah. It's like that's so they would never like hang around with each other, but they are because they live together now.
Yeah,
then you go on to be best mates with those people, don't you?
Yeah, it's nice. What was your first?
We were talking about this before, weren't we? So, my first halls, I moved into Grand Central, which is next to Lime Street Station, and it was known as Party Central when I moved in there. And it was
that was a bougie one.
Grand Central.
Yeah, well, we thought it was.
I don't think Grand Central was bougie.
Yeah, it is now.
It was bougier than where you were, but
mine was all right.
Where were you?
I was on London Road.
Yeah.
Apollo Court.
Yeah.
It was cracking. Remember the
Is that still there? Is it still a halls?
Still a halls.
Is it?
The first day I got there, I was with my mum, and we carted a load of gear up the stairs, got to the top flat, knocked on the door because I didn't have a key at the time. I think they were in the flat. I think they were like, go up, there's people in there already, they've just arrived. And Katie Jones opened the door. So Katie's a good friend of mine. She runs Albert Schloss now down in town. Opened the door and went, I think she might have been in like a tiny pair of shorts and like a pyjama top, and went, we've got a boy.
Did she?
Just looked at me mum like, oh, too late.
Yeah. Oh.
And then we've stayed friends ever since.
Yeah. Amazing. I moved into Grand Central. On the top floor, we called it the penthouse.
Nice. Which way were your views?
Other
way.
Looking at Lime Street Station. Wasn't great, but you got a little bit of St George's Hall, but mostly Lime Street Station. And we moved in, and it was me, my friend Nick, who I was at his wedding a couple of years ago, and it's amazing the friendships you make. It was us two, and then two girls, Trish and Lydia, who's Northern Irish. And Lydia was like our mum. She'd make our tea every night and make sure we'd done our washing and stuff like that, and make sure we weren't scruffs. And Trish stayed for the grand total of about 4 hours.
Oh.
Yeah. She moved in with... Her mum and dad moved her in, and she was from Preston. And she was literally like, all sorted now, all sorted. And then really like prim and proper. And then her mum and dad left. And then she just packed everything up and was like, my boyfriend lives in his own flat. I'm moving in with my boyfriend.
All right.
Yeah. But his mum and dad never knew.
So she pretended that she was moving in.
So she packed all her stuff back up, moved out. So she was gone after like 4 hours. We never ever seen her. I've never seen her again.
Oh my God.
Seen her once.
Trish.
If you're out there, Trish, I miss you.
Yeah, get in touch. Tell us how it went. Are you still with him?
She literally like, when mum and dad moved her in, and it was like so excited, and then they left, and she literally like went and got changed into different clothes.
That's amazing.
Like her mum and dad didn't have a clue she was. Do you know what I mean? And then Lydia stayed till bonfire night. I think her birthday was bonfire night. She went home for her birthday to Northern Ireland, and then she didn't come back. She really struggled with the change from like she was like lived on a farm. And she really struggled with the change to a city and the pace of stuff.
It's quite intense in general because you're meeting people for the first time and you're living on your own, and there's people from like all over that go to university, especially in Liverpool. It's got quite a good international and national commute intake.
Commute. That was a big commute, that.
And I think it can be overwhelming for people, can't it?
Yeah, she always like. We knew each week, like she was constantly on the phone to her mum and dad, being like she was struggling with she was very, very homesick. And you do what you can in sort of living in that situation. And then I think the first time she went home and her mum and dad were like, oh, you really aren't enjoying it. I don't think she was enjoying her course and things like that. It's strange, isn't it? Like going from, I did 1 year of marketing in my first year of uni. And I went from a school that was like, there was 30 of us in a year group. And everyone knew my name. All the tutors knew my name. Every student, you knew every year group and that sort of thing. And it was a really like small, close-knit. And then I went and did marketing first year at John Moore's. And there was like 250, 300 people in the first class I went to, like in a big lecture hall. And I just did not like it. Felt like I didn't have that sense of community to it at all. And then I ended up transferring after a year and doing drama and got that feel again of like the tutors knew everyone and everyone knew each other's names. I imagine those courses like the business and marketing ones do go on to do that. But I just really didn't enjoy like the first 2 months where I was like, no one knows me. Yeah,
well, it always surprised me. I mean, we lived in a mixed house, so eventually we ended up in the second year, half the people that were in my flat were drama, and by chance half were law.
Yeah.
And the difference in your expectations are so strange. Like, we were kind of in constantly, and if we weren't in officially, we were in extracurricular doing stuff. Whereas, Law and my good friend Sweeney, who I'm still mates with now, who was my next door neighbour in Halls, we then lived together throughout the duration, and I think we had such a different experience. He was the same, massive lectures.
Yeah.
I moved a lot of them online and did all that stuff.
I think especially now that
post-COVID,
I think a lot of them are just like you work from home and you do the classes from home if you want and stuff like that. But it was the first year for me. I was like, I'm not enjoying. I absolutely loved uni life. I'd just been on a lads' holiday, got back and thought this was just like one big lads' holiday, but. You had to go to uni in the morning. But when I wasn't enjoying the classes, and then when I swapped over to drama, I did have that work and party balance in terms of like we always went out and did stuff, but I wanted to get up in the morning to go to the classes. I wanted to learn new things. I wanted to meet new people. But the first year, I was just like, I'm not enjoying this course.
It was a big party as well, wasn't it? I know people laugh about it, but it was 3 years of party.
No, 100%. And Liverpool is like, it doesn't sleep, does it? It's crazy in terms of, you speak to people in other unis and other cities, and everything shuts at 2, 3 in the morning. Liverpool is mad that it's like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's even later, some places.
What was your favourite uni night out?
I was going to say, so I used to laugh, right? We moved into Grand Central, and the ground floor, which is now called Dough, is it Dough Bar?
Oh, yeah.
The same guys that have got the font. When that opened, it was called Rehab. So it was a bar open called Rehab.
That's quite...
Yeah, and it was a wine bar. It was like the guy that opened it didn't want it to be a student bar, and it was quite expensive. And it was like, I think his business model was like, we'll catch everyone getting on the train.
Yeah.
So everyone going to Lime Street Station, we'll come and have a glass of wine.
But you were
before we get-
underneath student flats.
Yeah, under thousands of students. Honestly, I couldn't believe it. But we used to go there just because it was like, because it was at the bottom. Be like, I'll meet you downstairs, have a pint. And we got to know the lad on the bar really well and stuff like that. And then I think first year you go to all of the places that the sort of crowd sweep you to, don't you?
Yeah, you get your freshers wristband. I never did like the official get your freshers wristband.
No.
But I did do some of the parties.
Like the Smurf party one. There was like a Smurf one.
The Smurf ones. There was always a good one at Bumper called Dirty Antics, which that was like indie music. That was always like, you knew you were going to get good tunes and it'd be a laugh.
If you went to Bumper, get in the comments and let us know about your favourite night and story in Bumper.
Bumper was...
That was great.
Was great. When like I couldn't believe how big it was. I think they used to do it in the front and then they opened the back every now and again. And when you went into the back, you're like, it's massive.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? You get lost. Yeah. I remember someone on one of our first nights out, someone got that pissed that they fell in between. They're like, it was either a fruity or a jukebox.
Oh yeah.
So it fell in between that and the wall, and no one could find her for like 2 hours. Everyone was looking around like, where is she? Where's she gone? Where's she gone? And then someone found her, like a umbrella down the side of a fruity.
My most strangest still to this day, the strangest night out. We went as a flat. Should we just all go and do something? Like obviously we've all got friends outside of uni.
Yeah.
But let's all go and do a night out. And Garland's used to do a student night.
Did you Thursday nights?
Thursday nights, and we turned up and we were just dancing on like the stage, and then we got ushered off the stage, like move back. Stood at the front like, who's coming on? It wasn't advertised, and Coolio came out.
Yeah.
And sang Gangsta's Paradise and then left.
Just did Gangsta's Paradise.
Gangsta's Paradise and then left.
What a guy.
Quality.
What a guy.
Quality. I don't think he knew it was a gay bar.
The shadow of death. I take a look at my life and realise there's nothing left. Mate, just did that in Garland's, and then it's just back to boom, 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 boom.
Honestly.
What a night.
Wild.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember my first night at uni. It was like me and Nick, my roommate, Lydia, obviously Trish is gone a few hours before.
Trish.
If you're there, hit me up. And then we had like Nick's best mate had moved into the same halls, his cousin had moved in, and then I had a few mates that had moved to Liverpool, so we had this like few people over for a few drinks. And I remember drinking a full bottle of amaretto. I actually can't even smell amaretto anymore now, it just makes me feel sick.
Everyone's got that one drink that they've overdone.
I drank a full bottle of amaretto, and the whole night is a complete blur. And I remember waking up in the crazy house on a motorbike, on a ride. Like, do you remember they used to have the motorbike rides? I woke up on the motorbike. I was like,
just came to.
How long have I been here?
Were you in between?
Stumbled home.
Were you in between
the motorbike and the wall, yeah. That was my first night. And then the next day, I remember just like, I stayed in bed for half the day. And then I think I crawled to the shop to get like a fizzy drink and some crisps or something to sort myself out. And then you were back at it again.
Yeah. I had a beauty because Ben had lived here for a year, and I'm friends with Ben from back home.
Yeah.
And I remember leaving one of the student nights and walking home and getting to like the Royal Hospital and be like, Ben, I do not know where I am going.
Yeah.
And he had to guide me down London Road, which if you are from the city, you know that it's not the nicest of areas late at night. 10 years ago, 12 years ago, it was even worse. No one really lived out that way. No. It's all right now, to be honest. But then most mornings you'd go out and the Orange Lodge used to march down London Road. So you just have like it seemed like every day, just piccolos and drums, and we're like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
I don't think I'd met an Irish person before I moved here.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, it's for me, I lived half an hour away, and probably my nights out as an 18-year-old would be on the train into town and go out and then taxi home. But for you, It must have been a big change for you coming to a new city, and you'd been coming for a few years, hadn't you?
I knew Liverpool quite well anyway. We used to come from when we were about 15, 16.
He met a girl on a school trip.
I didn't meet a girl on a school trip.
Ben did.
Ben met a girl on
and
a
they
school
liked
trip.
espresso martinis. Call back to a previous episode.
That story's done
Click
well.
the link in this. Click the link to go to the story.
Kim shouted at me last night.
Did she for telling it?
No, for saying that she was around at his for 2 days, stroking his head. Apparently I've embellished.
Oh, right. Well, what's the point in doing a podcast if you can't embellish a story?
Whatever.
Yeah, so he'd met a girl on a school trip in Russia.
Yeah. And
Strange school trip.
It was a strange school trip. And they were from the Wirral. So
Right.
we used to come over. I can't believe, Mum, if you're listening, thanks for letting us do whatever we wanted, but I can't believe they used to let us come over. They're very well behaved lads.
Yeah.
So we'd come over, we'd see them. We knew Liverpool pretty well. I mean, when we first came
It was
over...
just a day trip. You'd get the train home.
Yeah, and then eventually when we got to like 17, we'd stop over.
Yeah.
And Liverpool won one even built the first year we came.
Oh, yeah.
So it was just like cladding.
I was only
there.
talking about the sports shop that used to be there for years. There used to, so when you turn where the Beehive used to be,
Yeah.
so the McDonald's was always
Not
there.
anymore.
No, it's now the Futurist. So basically where like Shoe and probably Metro Bank,
Yeah.
where that is, there used to be this massive sports shop. I think it was called Sports World, or something like that. And the top floor was just a putting green.
Oh,
So
you've told
when
me.
we'd go shopping in town, my dad would be like, "Oh, I'll take the lads for a McDonald's," and we'd go and get a McDonald's. My mum would go around the shops, and then he'd go, "Come on, top floor of Sports World," and he'd just practice his putting. And me and Jack would just sit and eat our happy
Sounds
meal.
great.
Yeah, so you've been coming for a few
Been
years.
coming for a few years. Obviously, it's really different when you move here, isn't it? Because we do a lot of specific things that and people from over the water, tend to not necessarily know some parts of Liverpool that well. Tend to know the city centre.
Yep.
And not really like the Georgian Quarter where we are now, or like London Roadway. So I hadn't seen a lot of this, but I knew my way around, and I kind of knew the etiquette. I think the reason I love Liverpool is it's still got a really good community feel to it. Like where I'm from, Bradford, so we go out in Leeds really because Bradford's not really got much of a nightlife, and Leeds is really different. It's not you pay in everywhere,
Right.
Like clubs anywhere or late night bars, you pay in. And you had to wear nice shoes and no jeans.
Right.
Proper strange, like 70s mentality.
Yeah.
So coming here, and it was like, what, you can just... I remember Heebie-Jeebies was absolute... At the time, it was amazing when you could get from upstairs to downstairs through the side door.
That's what I was going to say. That was probably the place, wasn't it?
It was unreal.
Yeah.
I don't hate it now. I just think it's changed
older.
with the times, and we're older. But they had some good nights, and I think especially Seal Street, when you first do a night out on Seal Street when you're 18, it just feels like this amazing cavern of all sorts of
100%.
vibes, and and it was always friendly. I've never had any trouble in Liverpool unless I'm with someone who started it normally, to be honest. And I just think you can come here and kind of reinvent yourself a little bit. I think over the next few weeks, what's good for us is because we see a lot of students coming into the bar every year. You see how they develop over the 3 years.
It's nice, isn't it, to see that journey? Especially the other year when we had Monroe, and he wrote basically like a poetry, like spoken word, short story type thing, wasn't it? About not feeling like he fit in his first 2 weeks, and then finding the arts bar, and then it becoming a place for him to be himself and sort of relax. And we spent so many nights with him here, didn't we? Where he'd come in for a coffee or a Guinness, or he'd come to watch some music and things like that. It's nice to see them students then go on to sort of young adults and creating their own stuff, and whether that means just going and getting a job somewhere or something like that, or actually just kicking on with what they want to do.
Yeah.
And I think I'd say like 80% of them stay. I think Liverpool's got that hook where it keeps students.
It does.
And people start lives like yourself, where you know how long have you been here now?
14 years.
14 years, so nearly
15.
nearly half your life.
Yeah.
That's interesting, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's-
What did you think was different about when you moved here from just like obviously getting a cab in, doing a night out, and then usually going home?
It was what the nightmare was for me was that I was then the person with the flat
Yeah, so everyone just used to
Yeah,
crash
yeah,
it.
yeah. Just ring me and we were talking about it the other day, weren't we? You could be out every night, and it then I think in my first year I remember like everyone just be like, Alex has got a flat, so you'd get a phone call at like 10 o'clock and you might just be watching a film and it'd be like, we're out tonight, come meet us, or can I stay at yours, can I come to yours? And you'd just be like, it was relentless sometimes, like you're the person with the flat. But yeah, it was just that sense of freedom and going like, I've got my own place that I can go back to, my own like place to decorate sort of thing. Yeah, loved the sense of freedom. Neither of us have ever been home after like I couldn't move home.
No, I don't know how people do it. I mean, sometimes it's necessity, I get that, but I couldn't go back to living with someone like a parent,
just having your own control over your time and space and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not a who you live with thing. I think it's just I need to be in control of my whole day. But yeah, it was an exciting time. And I think we're going to see a load of fresh-faced people have the time of their lives over the next few weeks, and even the second and third years enjoy these few weeks themselves. Yeah,
just make the most of it and just like meet as many people as you can. Try new stuff out. I think the biggest thing for me, I think in freshers or maybe even my first year, I started working pretty early, so I think I didn't really experience it as much as I should have done. I think I've made up for it in my 20s by getting a bar and doing all that, but I think the first year especially I just didn't do too much.
You did? Were you straight in the fill?
Pretty much. I mean, maybe after about 4 months or something.
You were always working there, weren't you?
Yeah.
Even when you'd go out for a drink and stuff, you'd always be in Where's Wilson, and it'd be like, I was in work.
Yeah.
You were like pretty much full time, weren't you?
Yeah. It was hard. I mean, I really enjoyed it as well. That's the thing, it was really enjoyable at the time. I think when I first started, because I'd never worked in a pub either, so I'd always done retail.
Yeah, you worked in Next, didn't you?
Next, yeah. Shout out Next, loved it.
You did?
Started out on kids wear. They put me on kids wear, and it was all right, but like, there's not really out to talk about, is there, with anyone? And then they put me on women's wear.
Oh yeah, and you loved it.
Well, it was well hard because I got shouted at so much. Because, like, to be fair, I was 15, 16. What the hell do I know about women's clothes? So I used to get sent in as like the diffuser sometimes, like, Tom, go deal with that.
Deal with what?
Just kickoffs and that. Do you know what I mean? We had a woman who we never found out who it was, but once a month she used to take a poo in changing rooms.
What?
And like proper curl it off and everything. And you go, it's
curl it off?
It will like curly like the
Once
ice cream.
Month?
Yeah.
That's a terrible recurring thing to happen, isn't it?
We never found out who it was. And it was like a comedy poo.
Shut up, like a joke shop.
Like a joke shop poo.
Like you'd do as a joke in like your nans.
But I can tell you
Not
now,
you'd do the poo in your nans, like you'd put the plastic curled up one. Oh, God. Yeah. What's happened there?
But it was real.
That's when there's horror stories about them, isn't there, where the dog ends up getting taken to the vet after that because someone's done a joke.
What?
Like, the dog started doing that inside.
Oh, someone batters it?
No, like puts it down. Not once they start doing that, then
they're done.
Yeah, that's where a joke goes wrong. That. So sometimes know your limits with pranks.
God,
It's never happened to me, but
right.
I imagine it has.
Well, she'd always do a poo. And I just
oh my God.
We just couldn't work out who it was, do you know what I mean? We'd even check the CCTV and be like...
He sounds like it's still haunting you, this.
A bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
just to find a human poo on the floor once a month.
Oh, God. Again.
It was.
The phantom pooer. The phantom pooer.
So
of Next, Bradford.
Halifax.
Was it Halifax?
Halifax.
Right. If anyone else is listening to this and they know about the phantom Halifax Next pooer,
get in touch.
And if it's you, Trish, imagine that. Imagine that if it's the same woman that I lived with for 4 hours.
She was always weird.
Yeah. Trish, if it was you, we'll find out.
Well, they moved me on women's wear. They didn't make me deal with the poo, actually, but if someone was kicking off, they'd be like, send Tom, young lad, they won't kick off with him. just made it well worse.
Yeah, you imagine.
Well worse.
What's he going to do?
Yeah. So they put me on menswear on a Saturday afternoon doing suits, and I loved that. That were well good. We had a right laugh.
Get good discount as well.
Great discount.
Were you always like 3-pieced up too?
No, I used to just wear like a shirt and pants. Next sale, one time.
No tie, no accessories.
Not really, no. Sometimes like a little jumper maybe.
My dad had a friend years ago, and we all used to call him Gary the Shirt, and no one knew why, but it was apparently because he just never wore a tie.
Just the shirt.
Yeah, Gary the Shirt.
Because your dad's from like a business background, so that would have been quite a...
Yeah. Oh, he's not got a,
not
got a
got
tie
a
on
tie
again.
on, yeah.
Gary the Shirt. Anyway, we are rambling here. One of the things we wanted to do was give people some tips from us on where to go that's off the beaten track, that's not like your usual freshers spot, and it's like our tips. So me and Wilson have got a history of, we lived, as you'll know, we lived in the same building, flat above, flat below, and me and my mates and you and your mates would sometimes play five-a-side against each other throughout the week, and we would end up after all going for a drink, but not in a usual student location.
No, it was upstairs.
Yeah.
At Hannah's Bar.
We would go to Hannah's Bar
Which
like
is-
every like Wednesday night or something.
Which is Metrocola.
Yeah, which is now Metrocola.
So the big glass bit on the front
Yeah.
that looks out over the bombed out church. We go upstairs and sit up there and drink Heineken.
Yeah, which is weird, wasn't it?
But
it was just our spot that we like to go to. And we'd sometimes do the live music downstairs. The Flynn and Tonics were always on.
And Headhunters were on sometimes.
Yeah,
the
Headhunters Blues Band. But the Flynn and Tonics, am I right in thinking it's Haley who's in the Royal Court now? Was in Flynn and Tonics.
It's either Haley or a sister. I think it's a sister.
Is it? But we used to go and listen to the live music and then sit and have a few beers together, and it was like a people were always like, you guys go to Hannah's and drink there. I was like, yeah. So we wanted to do some like not so marketed as student places that you will go and enjoy yourself, and maybe you and your friends, it'll be your new local and you'll love it.
Yeah. Number 1 is Arts Bar Hope Street.
Yeah.
And number 2 is Arts Bar Baltic.
Yeah. So just go there. Moving on. No, we had a couple of places that we enjoy, and I think looking back, if people had gone, like, oh, go try there. I think first for me on the street that I want to say is, if you're looking for some cool music, nice vibes, I think Fredericks is always a good shout midweek to do the jazz.
The jazz nights have become really infamous, haven't they? John Dean, who runs them, has done a really good job at keeping that jazz scene alive, up this end of town especially. Yeah. And I know the Grapes have always got a jazz band on a Sunday night, but other than that, there wasn't really many places doing it. And it started every Tuesday.
Yeah.
And it's got so popular that he has a different band Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yep.
I think this week it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday as well.
Now this is like Tom saying there, the Grapes and Freds for the jazz. Like like LIPA students, are sort of, they know about all this sort of stuff. But if you're not a LIPA student, I don't imagine they know so much about those sort of places. Yeah. It's always worth going the Grapes on a Sunday night. The jazz in midweek in Freds is always good fun.
Yeah.
Our friends down at the Jack.
Yeah, so the Jacaranda, I don't think I would have gone there necessarily if I'd just moved to the city. I think when we moved, it hadn't been done up yet, and it wasn't Graham that had it, so it was still quite divey.
Yeah.
But it's definitely worth going to if you... It's not always on the circuit of student venues for some of them big nights out.
Yeah.
But if you're into your music, into your indie, into your records, they've got a record store above it, and they've got a gig venue below it, and they've got a main bar in the middle. It's always got something interesting on. It's good fun.
100%.
Saturday nights, Rock and Roll Circus.
Yep.
Good
Go
fun.
and give it a go.
Yeah.
As well as that, sort of more further afield, we were saying go and check out Lark Lane. Get yourselves out whilst the sun is still shining and it's not too cold, to Sefton Park.
Did you know about Sefton Park before you
I don't think in my first year we went anywhere near until like June.
Yeah.
Or like during like end of first year, and then it'd be like, oh, we'll go Formby Beach or we'll go Sefton Park, and people start doing that. But I don't think until then we'd have gone anywhere near Sefton Park.
I remember town feeling well smaller. I think I remember when we left uni and me and Jack moved into a place the other side of the cathedral, so on Upper Parliament Street. And that felt like miles away at the time. I think it's really grown out.
100%.
Even towards another one on the list was the Invisible Wind Factory in terms of
going
cool
towards 10
venues.
Streets and
Even that
down
way
the
is
Dock
growing
Road.
as well.
Yeah,
There's all sorts to do.
definitely. But we if you're after a coffee and things like that, go to Press Bros, get to Dillart Lane, try out all the different coffee spots, and all the cool bars and stuff like that. There's loads of like live music and cool sort of arty events on down Dillart Lane.
Yep.
Enjoy it whilst you can, whilst it's nice and warm outside, but I'm sure it's going to go very cold soon.
If you're a pub person, or even, to be honest, a restaurant person, towards like Castle Street and Dale Street,
Yeah.
I think that always gets avoided by students slightly because it's the business district, and I think people think it's going to
Yeah.
be dead expensive. But there's some lovely pubs, lovely restaurants, lovely like independent
Yeah.
eateries down that way. That'd be cool to check out.
And then pub-wise, I'm going to go Baltic Fleet, PK's, the Belly, the Belvedere, and one more, the Cambridge. The Cambridge gets used students-wise. Yeah?
Yeah.
Belvedere's great. In fact, do you know what? Don't go to any of them places. Don't go to any of them. The last few pubs. Just stick to Concert Square.
Yeah. We don't want them. We don't want them oversaturated. Don't tell them about the Casa.
No. The Cavern.
The Casa.
Oh, right, the Gaza. No, go to the Cavern.
Go the Cavern. Go Seal Street.
I used to go to the Cavern. So the big night out when I was a student, as with you, will have been the Raz on a Monday night. Was always a chocker night.
Yeah.
I do think it was more uni of students would go to the Raz on a Monday than it was JMU.
It was quite rah-rah.
Yeah, it was, but it was good fun sometimes. So I always had a class on a Tuesday morning that I'd like have to drag myself out of bed to go to. But my mum worked at the uni behind the desk. She was a student admin officer, and she was like your uni mum, but she was actually my mum. And she used to park a car in Mount Pleasant car park and walk past my flat to get to work. And every Tuesday, she'd get in my bedroom somehow. She'd get into the flat and into my bedroom. And I'd have to say to the lads I lived with, like, who let her in here again?
She'll
She'd
always find
scream
a way,
at me,
mate.
get me up for uni. Get up now, get yourself to class. And I was like, I've moved out, you know. How she got in my room? It was like haunting.
Did she drag
And
you
then-
up with by your ear?
But then on a Thursday, I always had a class on a Thursday, but my granddad would come to town every Thursday at 10 a.m. and we'd go and get like a brekkie somewhere, and then we'd go to the Cavern or down Matthew Street ways and listen to live music all afternoon. But I had classes all day on a Thursday. She never said anything about that. She never ever pulled me about, you're supposed to be in class on Thursday. She let that slide.
Tony's here.
Granddad wins. That was the way.
Quality.
Cool. You've got a nice new sort of bit that you want to do on a podcast, isn't it? And it's a bit of a spotlight on certain artists.
Yeah, so I'm just going to pick a couple each week
Yeah.
that we've either been involved with, would like to get involved with, or have just seen out and about.
Yep.
Not always necessarily linked to what we do, but just people that are doing well. This week, it's a little bit of stuff that it's people we know basically and what's happening in Hope Street. So I wanted to give kind of a big shout out to Mikey Jones, MT Jones, who is in America at the minute. Still get flashes of our YouTube channel going like someone's viewed MT Jones,
He's
someone's
so
viewed
good,
MT
isn't he?
Jones. If you haven't seen it, that video, I think I pinned it to the top of our page now. It's amazing. Soulful, lovely
What a voice,
songwriting,
yeah.
what a voice. And he's on tour supporting Jalen and Gonda in America at the minute. Definitely one to watch out for.
Yeah.
And he's the nicest chap ever.
A lovely, lovely lad.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And I think the album's coming out soon. He's released an EP within the last couple of months. He's smashing it.
Yeah, cool.
Smashing it. And we had the pleasure of filming him about a year ago for one of the Arts Bar Lives in this kind of new format. So he does like a trio, like a jazz trio.
Yep.
Great. Check him out. MT Jones.
No. And another one is in the theatre world.
Yes. So the Everyman Theatre.
Yes.
They've got a show on called The Lieutenant of Inishmore.
Which is a Martin McDonough piece.
It is. So Martin McDonough is the writer of In Bruges and Banshees of Inisherin.
Yeah.
Amazing films.
Did he do Seven Psychopaths as well then?
I think he did.
Because Seven Psychopaths and In Bruges, I think they're, and I don't know if they're in some way linked, but I think it might be the same writer. Defo Martin McDonough.
I didn't realise he'd written a play. Maybe he has more than one.
No, he's got a few, I think.
He's got a few.
The Royal Court did one last year, a couple of years ago.
What was it called?
They did a McDonough piece. I don't know. I'll find out. Don't know.
Well, it
They
looks
did I went to see
exciting.
it. It was good.
And the reason it's very exciting for us as well is because some of our regulars and some of our friends from university have actually been cast in it.
Friend from uni, Cameron McKendrick, has worked. tiny little socks off for years, hasn't he?
He's been up and down the M1.
He literally has.
In a transit van, performing here, there, and everywhere.
He has. And you can see the breaks are getting bigger each time and stuff like that. And it's so nice to see that he's going to be on the main stage at the Everyman.
I can't wait.
Going from studying with us, and he's just grafted so hard, hasn't he, for it? So.
And one of our day one regulars, Jason Kelly, has got in it. Same. He's been writing, he's been acting, he's been performing, he's been painting.
He's everything, yeah.
He's everything.
He's got his own company called Idiot Brain Productions. And they are brilliant. They did a show at the Hope Street Theatre this year.
It was early this year, yeah.
And so go check them out. But also he is performing on stage in the Everyman soon. So massive congratulations, hats off to those guys. And it's really good to see the Everyman doing a McDonough piece.
I think it'll be really good. I think that all the marketing's looked really hot for it, and it's gone out really well. I think we'll enjoy it. It's right up our street.
Can't wait to see it. Can't wait.
And then in the art world, we've got a really exciting exhibition which will be tomorrow, so Thursday, the 17th.
Yeah. No, 18th.
18th, which is Lauren Reese's Creativity and Community. So she paints artists, mainly musicians.
Cool.
And it's portraits. So we're going to have a portrait exhibition on Thursday night with a lot of the people that are actually in the portraits performing.
Yep.
So I think it's a really good use of mixing the two art forms, and they're all dead cool as well. So it'll be a dead cool night.
It's going to be unreal.
Tomorrow night, if you fancy a few drinks, come on down.
Yeah,
it'll be good fun.
Nice. Have we got bar talk?
Bar talk's quite funny this week.
Cool.
So,
if you enjoyed this section from the other week where you can send in some questions and ask us, we'll be totally honest with you. We'll talk about running a company and an arts venue, selling tickets to events, that sort of thing. Or if you want to send any other questions that are just on the top of your mind, send them over, which I believe we've got one this week.
Well, we've got one from one of the staff, Iona Davis. And she said, would you rather not know what a baby was, or wake up every morning covered in honey?
Not know what a baby was?
Not know what a baby was, so be shocked every time you saw one. Or wake up every morning, head to crack in honey.
That'd be horrendous. That'd be horrendous. Because I think the logistics of going
question.
with
Can
that...
we just...
Yeah. I've dived straight into breaking this down. But, yeah, weird question, Iona. You're strange. I think the honey, like the actual repercussions that come with that, because your bed would just be sticky. If you didn't clean it properly, then, you're going to get animals in there, aren't you, and insects and stuff. So you're going to have to properly scrub your room every day.
But,
bedding.
Devil's advocate, you could be sat here now and just have a...
What? Like you lick the honey?
You could just have a quick...
What, you're going to leave it all day?
You could leave a bit on your shoulder.
No way.
And you could just have a quick...
No. You'd be covered in bees.
No. They don't go to honey.
They just make it.
They make it. They don't like there's some honey there, I'm going to crack on with that. They go, there's a flower
I'd be getting
there.
pestered by Winnie the Pooh.
You would.
I would.
Have you seen that horror film?
Leave us alone,
Have you seen
will
that
you?
Winnie the Pooh horror film?
No.
Where it's like 50 years later or 30 years later.
Oh, Christopher Robin's got older.
Well, and he forgot about him.
Oh.
So he goes back. He's trying to impress this girl. He goes, "I used to play down here when I was a kid." Walks in.
Is he a bit of a knob as well? He's a bit of a dick, like.
He's just a bit of he always has been, though, hasn't he? Turns up and they're all serial killers, and they like chase him and kill him and try to kill him and that, and they kill his girlfriend.
Eeyore would be terrifying there, wouldn't he?
Yeah, Eeyore.
He'd be terrifying.
Tigger is well scary.
Yeah, nuts. I'll watch that. We'll let you know next week.
So was that honey? You'd rather have?
No, I'd rather not know what a baby was.
But you're just scared every time you see it.
Why would you be scared?
Because you're like, whoa, what's that?
God, yeah, it would be terrible. I'm going to go with that. I just think it'd have less of an effect on my day. I think I'd go like, whoa, what's that? And then 5 minutes later, I'd be like, at least I'm not covered in honey. I'd crack on with my day. I've got one for you though, Iona. Would you rather have hot dogs for fingers or quavers for toes? You don't have to answer it. We'll just wait for Iona to put it in the comments.
I'm just trying to think what I'd rather. Probably
pigeon, nearly in the window. We've had many a pigeon in this room.
That'd be good if a pigeon just
come straight in. Yeah.
We have got one that is slightly more serious from Holly.
Okay.
What area of the arts do you think are slightly neglected in the Liverpool scene, like in the art scene, and for why? It's quite a difficult one, to be honest. I think in general there's a big gap between where we are at a grassroots level, moving right up to bigger venues.
Yeah.
Yes, I think what I'd love to see in the next couple of years is some more. I mean, there's some brilliant ones already. Like, if you're looking at music and theatre as a general package, you've got like the Unity, I suppose the Everyman to some extent, the Royal Court Studios doing that. You've got places like the Jacaranda, you've got Hangar 34, you've got District. They exist, but
there's a gulf, isn't there?
There's a slight gulf.
There's a big gap between coming and doing a gig here and then going to Hangar 34 or to District. I do think that there needs to be where Jimmy's was. Do you know what I mean? Like a mid-scale venue that can be ticketed, that isn't ridiculous on a higher cost, but is accessible to use. But yeah, I do think there's a gap between doing a gig in Hope Street or Baltic and then going, my next gig's actually in District or bigger venues. And I think you do see that some people do them gigs, it doesn't go as well as they think it was going to go, and then they're sort of frightened
because it's too big.
Yeah.
I think the best natural progression from maybe playing one of our shows here is people do really well at the Quarry.
Yeah.
And people do really well in the Jack Basement.
Yeah.
Because they're slightly bigger.
Yeah.
And you've got
you
can ticket it, you've got that stepping stone. Then after that, you're right, it goes,
massive,
150 to 600 or 500. It's a massive gap. Which Jimmy's did plug that gap.
And I think the difference that in music is there's a gap right in the middle. I think there's a lot of venues where, like, I think Jack Basement's similar to us in terms of it's not huge, and you could very much start your gigs off there and stuff like that. But I don't, and there's us and there's many other venues where you could go and start off with new stuff, but there isn't that one in the middle that sort of like what Jimmy's was, where there's a bit of a bigger space, bigger rig, bigger sound system, and then again you go again and it's a bit bigger than that. But in theatre, I think it's completely the other way, where there is no like starting block, and that's what we're trying to do here. So I don't think there is that ladder. There's the smallest venue you can hire really is Hope Street Theatre. I don't think there is that space for grassroots, like brand new, try it out. It's not going to empty your pockets by booking the space out. Yeah. I remember years ago, so Margaret and Siobhan, it was £80, £100 a night to book the Lantern. And it was very much the space you could start off and try out ideas. So that's what we're trying to do here with Studio 3, and even more so with downstairs in Studio 4 is it's 30 seats, but it's free to use, and you can come and try ideas out and get your friends to come and watch and get industry professionals to come and have a look, have a drink, talk to them about it after, and then go and try a 60-seater. And then once you've done the 60 seats, then go and try the show out in Hope Street Theatre or the Everyman or the Unity, and if they've got the studios available, try them out there. But I think people need to start trying out smaller, and even just trying script in hand reading, or trying we've got a couple of scenes from a show we've wrote, and try that like, there's 30 people that have come to watch. Yeah. A couple of scenes.
And ignore like any technical requirements, just don't worry about that for the first
focus on the work.
Yeah.
And then once you're sort of growing it, you can grow the sort of design of the sound and the set and the lights, but just focus on the work immediately.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of Edinburgh shows I've been in or been to, and look, they've got a really basic lighting rig and a basic sound system, but actually if the script's right, it don't really matter.
Yeah.
You can get lost in it a little bit.
100%. Yeah. 100%.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think it's always going to be growing and moving, and places will open, places will shut. It's just the nature of the beast at the minute. But I think the key factor is if you really want to do something, make it work in whatever space you can find and that is affordable for you.
Yeah, it's got to be affordable for you to try out and not get your fingers burnt, and you not want to do it ever again. Do you know what I mean? And because things can go wrong, things probably will go wrong when you're just starting out and you're trying new work, and whether that be a new album, new music that you're writing, or a play that you've written, or you're a new company that's trying out a script. You're new. You're going to make mistakes. Those things are going to happen.
Absolutely.
So best to do that in spaces where you aren't costing yourself a fortune to try out ideas. Do it. Use the spaces that are available to you for, sort of low value. Free is downstairs, and invite people to come and see it and sort of hone your skills.
Yeah. Cool.
Done there?
Yeah. Should we leave it there for this week?
Yeah.
You're going on holiday.
I am going on holiday. I said at the end of last week, but
could you do a few video clips from where you are, please?
Yeah.
I'll send you.
I'm just trying to catch the last of some sun.
Yeah.
Just a few days in Mallorca, which has been a long time coming, for my lovely girlfriend's birthday, and then I'll be back next Monday to do a podcast again.
It'll be nice and brown next week.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully.
See you later.
See you soon.